Hi,
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good.
Where are you?
I'm at my apartment.
Oh, well, that's good. I thought you might have headed back out to hang with mom and dad.
Oh, that's about to happen because I just got a notice last night I'm getting kicked out of my apartment. So
That's great. Well, can if I'm stepping on toes, tell me. But why are you getting kicked out of your apartment?
they're selling the building, so they're
Oh,
kicking everyone out by like June 30th.
great. Well, do you have to June 30th at least?
Yeah,
Or oh, well then that's yeah,
6 weeks.
yeah.
It's okay, but yeah.
So what else have you been up to?
Just living the unemployment life and
Yeah, no, I do know. I do know. And I'm bored out of my mind.
yeah, it hasn't been the greatest, but
No, but hopefully things, I don't know. Debbie's actually on hold for work starting in the first week of June. So
hmm Yeah, I'm
hopefully,
on hold for like one job in 2 weeks, but every time I'm on hold, it just gets pushed back every
that's
time.
exactly what's happening to her. So, sooner or later, though, it's going to start up again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just the hope, the slow hope of when.
Yeah, I hear you. Believe me, I hear you.
But how's things been on your end?
Well, I got to tell you, teaching online sucks.
Yeah,
So I'm sure that learning online also sucks. Um, it's just, yeah, it's twice the work and there's zero really interaction.
yeah.
It's just the whole thing is just bizarre.
hmm
So, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How is it gonna work with like graduation and stuff and like your guys' finals?
So graduation is going to be a very abbreviated 1 hour event online with
Oh,
only the photo department. The school itself, it apparently isn't doing anything, which is sad.
yeah.
I mean, there are other ones, there are other places that are trying to at least make some, like my nephew graduated this year from Syracuse, New York, and there's like 4,000 people in his class. And so they did something to, hi, Ross, you're there or here. Yes,
It's hard to hear you.
barely. No, we can't hear anything now. We can hear that.
Yeah.
No. No, I'm going to be right back too. I'm going to grab the microphone as well. Hold on.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. Hey, Chelsea, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm bored.
Yeah. Feel like everyone's feeling that.
Yep. Are you staying busy at least, or not really?
Not really.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out all the unemployment stuff and all that, so that keeps me busy for the most part. But
Yeah, it's like a full-time job.
yeah, so
And couldn't be more frustrating of an experience.
yes,
Yeah, I mean, the worst part of it is that I don't know why it seems like, because I've been doing stuff for Debbie, I don't know why it is that you can fill out, the 15 website pages of it all, and it does not kick you out until you hit the submit button.
yeah,
I mean, why doesn't it kick you out with the first answer and just say, no, or no, we can't take you today. No, you got to go through the whole thing. And then it won't remember what you filled out. So when you get kicked off at the submit button, it's not like you can just come back and hit submit again tomorrow morning. You got to fill it all out again.
That's
yeah. My biggest issue was I got accepted for it, and then they sent me all this paperwork, but they sent me the day it was due. So by the time I had it all done, it it was late, and they basically denied me. And I've been trying to call and be like, no, this isn't my fault, but they haven't answered in like 3 weeks. Every time I call, no answer.
Yep. Great.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Chelsea, thanks for jumping in here again. So I think, Ross, this is really more, I guess, where we are at with our Instagram site right now and where you want it to be and when you want it to be there. Is this something that we frantically tackle this week and try to get up and running and all, or is this, I don't know what your feeling is about that, but.
Yeah, I think that, no, it's not a frantic thing. There's a, I don't know if either one of you have looked at the Instagram site lately, but I cleaned it up. I got rid of a whole bunch of old stuff. And it looks fine right now. It's got last year's manifest poster and this year's manifest poster sort of spread out over the grid, which is cool. Jonelle's actually doing some stories of the manifest students right now. So I think what we're talking about is, going to be looking at getting this going, over the summer and into the fall, for the recruiting season for the fall of 21.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, because
we're not in any huge hurry.
Okay, because I basically have it set up where I gave you at first. I can share it actually.
Okay.
Share screen. Just tap one. Share. Okay. Can you see this?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So I basically have it set up where I'm giving you like all the hot like times to post. These are like general, just for everyone. So when you guys like start to get rolling, you can kind of use these as references of when to post and then see what times are most successful. Because once you start posting with your normal like criteria and like the normal content you're going to be posting with, then you can rely on your Instagram Insights backlogs to basically tell you when you should be posting. So I had it tracked out for a typical week for you guys, like Tuesday at 9 a.m. You guys should do a post, Wednesday at 10 a.m. or 6 p.m. do a post, and then Thursday at 12 p.m. So basically 3 posts a week I think is fair. It's not over the top, but it's still giving enough criteria to Instagram people. Now, what did I put? During an event week, like manifest, graduation, or if you have like open house, you might want to post more. So I put all the hot times during the week. So Monday at like 10 a.m., Tuesday at 9 a.m., basically all that. Then I dove into like, 2 to 3 times a week during a normal week. This isn't about stories. This is just your engagement until, like I said, you can use basically this information with you guys to know exactly when you should be posting because it'll tell you. Then I kind of put together post concepts with graphics and kind of how it would look. I'm mainly focusing on a carousel theme for you guys, which basically means like you can scroll through a few photos rather than just one photo at a time. So it'd basically be, one concept was Columbia student feature of the week. So it would be like the introduction. So it's this like a portrait of the student, maybe their major or like what year they're graduating, however you want to put it, their name. And then when you swipe, it shows their work. And then if you swipe again, if they want to put behind the scenes, they can. Just so it kind of gives, all this like layers of what people look for in social media with photography there. Not only that, but self-promoting the students will like kind of have them self-promote themselves on their social media, reaching more people for you guys. So it'll be kind of like the spider web effect. I also included hashtags for you guys for general options for the college. So I have them listed here, which each like kind of post concept I do have, all these different like hashtags for you guys. Then I also have like behind the scenes of the student. You can actually like post on the story like, hey, we did this for the student. Maybe like if they have a video of the behind the scenes, you can post it on the story. The next one I had was a Colum alum feature. You don't have to call it that, but I thought it was witty. Basically just anything about like what alumni are doing at Columbia currently. So the same thing, maybe an introduction and then like just strictly showing their work. And then you can have like maybe a biography or a little brief thing saying like, hey, this is like what they're doing. they graduated this year, et cetera, et cetera. And these graphics too, I had a graphic designer do, so you guys can basically like loop in and out, rechange however you want. It's all layered, super easy. Um,
So all
then
of
I,
this, Chelsea, all of this would still be using that sort of carousel.
yeah, yeah. So
Okay, cool.
even though it doesn't show the carousel here, it would start with like this photo, then you'd swipe and it would show the photos.
Great.
Then I have teacher feature of the week. These are just general concepts because I was like, these would be interesting for me if I was planning to go to college. Like, what would I would look into? Like, I'd want to know about what the teachers have been doing and like what the students are doing in the alumni. So basically, I have those concepts along with like class features, which this is up to you if you guys would want to do this. Like, kind of like the fashion classes. If you took a photo of like a behind the scenes shot of the class, had that as the main photo, and then it carousels into like behind the scenes along with just actual some of the work, just to show like, hey, like, students made this in this class, or like darkroom dynamics, showing like the process of the behind the scenes as best as you can in a dark room, with some of the actual pieces that they make. This includes, hashtags as well and everything. Then I have events. Now, events I didn't go too far into because I wasn't sure exactly like what events you guys would want to post about. I'm assuming most of them, but like for example, manifest and graduation would probably be like a whole month of posting. So like you would have criteria for at least a month. That wouldn't have to be like the post concepts that you were doing before. So at least you'd have a break, so it doesn't seem like too much. Basically, anything that's happening with manifest, like portfolio books, showing students working on that in class, their business cards, the aftermath of everything, of like showing the students sitting there for the like portfolio reviews and everything. Obviously that's going to be hard this year because of everything going on. But also just maybe like the Hilton fashion like class, the few weeks that they're actually in the Hilton for, that would be good to post about and show like, maybe because it's 2 students every week, so maybe highlighting like what those 2 students are doing after it's done, like, 2 weeks ago Sam and Joe like took these photos, and it shows like Sam's feature with the behind the scenes of the Hilton, and then the final like piece of the Hilton, and then another post being the Joe.
Chelsea, you were in that class, right? Did you
Yeah.
take? Yeah, and were you guys actually shooting behind the scenes video while that was all going down?
Yeah, I had to. I might actually still have it. I have one picture of behind the scenes from it from a different student, not from me. I do have, actually, I'm pretty sure I have the behind the scenes of me shooting too.
No, I was just curious if a lot of people were doing that. Russ, when we were doing the only shoot that we got to do for Fashion Studio this semester, every single team was shooting behind the scenes video. And it was literally, I said to them, hey, you guys should think about doing this. And that was all it took.
Yeah.
They were all doing it. So there are 4 videos right there that exist from just that one day.
Well,
So,
I
yeah.
know the MacArthurs do that too. I went over to the student center when they were doing a shoot over there before the coronavirus thing, and all of the students were doing behind the scenes videos. So
Right.
We have a treasure trove of a lot of that stuff if we can start gathering it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and basically to make it more cohesive, this is why I like was thinking adding graphics so it just doesn't look so random and it
Yeah.
looks more thought out. And a lot of the graphics actually translate into stories if you want those graphics. So say if like, you can have like a story that says like, oh, Fashion One Hilton, and then like have that as the first like graphic with a picture and then showing the other stories. So it just seems to look a little bit more fresh. That's up to you guys. I don't know if you'll care about branding too much, but that was just an idea I had.
Yeah, I do think branding is pretty important. And in fact, that's something I've been thinking a lot about lately is logos and branding and stuff like that.
So the branding that I like basically have right now, I'll kind of zoom in on it. it's taken kind of from Columbia and then mixed a little bit different for the photo department, keeping it still like modern. So it'll stay timeless, which if you guys don't like the branding, like obviously introduction wouldn't be there. It would just have the name and then, what they're majoring in the year. But, I can switch around anything. And I was going to say, I would say 3 main colors that you want to like switch out with throughout like the Instagram, or even maybe 6, but just to keep the colors there and consistent rather than too random would be an idea.
Yeah, I think that's yeah. I like that. I'll let you finish, and then I can tell you what I'm kind of thinking too.
Okay. I'm basically almost done. Events, stories. So basically, I went into just lightly about stories, like how stories, there's not an exact science to it because people can literally just sit there and like, touch their stories for 24 hours. So I wouldn't worry too much about when to post the stories, just to keep in mind to post the stories. And for the content, it could be super vague or it could be super detailed. What I mean by vague is, say if you like the class is doing a photo shoot, they can just show like a clothing rack and say photo shoot today in like fashion class, rather than showing the photo shoot, just in case if there's like certain things they can't show. And then like, for example, if there's like a student gallery, instead of like highlighting all the work, you could just do like a general story of the environment, being like, oh, hey, come to the gallery today. I also added a Dropbox link of some like behind the scenes that I've done a little bit, but I couldn't find a lot of my Instagram ones because it's been a while since, because of quarantine, that my behind the scenes stuff only archives for like 1 month. So a lot of it is from my Snapchat, which is more humorous and lighthearted. Still professional, but just to give you guys examples of if you need it or not, because I know that was a concern, like, oh, what should we do for behind the scenes? What should we do for this?
Well, you actually bring up something that I was wondering about, and this is going to betray my age, but I love Instagram. I've never downloaded nor even looked at Snapchat. And now I'm hearing all the kids like the TikTok.
Oh, TikTok. I hate TikTok, but
But I'm wondering, like, are these strategies in your experience, like if we were to start a Snapchat account, like are these fairly, like, can we apply these strategies to Snapchat as well?
Snapchat's not really like, so Snapchat's more like private, I would say, because it's whoever wants
to. So Instagram is still the one that is used for the public facing stuff.
I would say TikTok is getting somewhere, but that's more like humorous, not very, I mean, some social media people now, like influencers in the photo like realm, are trying to use TikTok as another kind of platform to promote themselves. So it could blow up into the next like influence kind of medium. But this also was a thing with Vine like a few years ago, and then it got closed down. So that's why I'm not putting too much high hopes into it. But you definitely could do Columbia TikTok. It would just be a little bit more complicated because the videos have to be like more thought out, because they're, I don't know, it's like a comedy skit whenever you like watch a TikTok.
Right. Okay. Well, that's good to hear, because that means that, okay, so Instagram is still sort of the place that makes the most sense for us to be doing this.
Yeah. TikTok.
And we ignore Facebook at this point because it, like, nobody looks at Facebook anymore.
Yeah, Facebook is slowly dying. It's going to be the next MySpace.
Right.
Yeah, I think focusing on Instagram for now and maybe seeing how TikTok evolves and considering it later down the line. But for now, it might be a little bit too complicated, especially because TikTok, you can't really do like scheduled posting or anything like you wanted with the Instagram.
That makes sense.
So basically my last and next thing are highlights. I didn't put too much info into it because you guys basically have to decide what you want as highlights, and what highlights are basically saved stories on your Instagram. So if I go to like my Instagram, I deleted most of my highlights, but I still have this one highlight where it's like, oh, hey, like this is something I wrote. And it's like me going through and showing it. So that way it stays on my profile and people can still go back to it and like read it if they want it. So I think that would be smart for you guys to basically have either like a manifest highlight, graduation highlight, maybe like galleries, events, or keeping it to class of like 2021 or even like the year 2021 and just showing what happened in general through the years. So that's totally up to you guys, but I have graphics in store for them as well to match the branding. So it just depends on what you want to show. And then my last thing, so later.com, I didn't really put too much in here about, because if you guys do go with later.com, they literally have a video tutorial for every single thing. And it's really easy to like go through, really easy to ask questions, just really easy to do. The only thing is for what you guys want, I was looking at it, you would have to do a plus plan. So you wouldn't be able to do the free plan with like posting carousel posts or stories ahead of time. So with the the plus plan, you can do that. And say if you're willing to do the plus plan, you could do the premium plan too and have 2 people on it, but $16. So I feel like you could just have one account and have people swapping in between it. But yeah, this is basically, if you guys don't want to do later.com because of the pricing, I've been looking into other platforms and their Schedulegram. It just might not work as like fluently as this.
Yeah, I don't think this isn't cost prohibitive.
Okay.
We can afford it.
Okay, cool. So yeah, just let me know if you have any questions about any of this. This is kind of like what I started, and you know, I can dive deeper into it if you want.
I mean, I think this looks great. Yeah, I mean, I like all of this. I think it all makes a lot of sense. I think the next thing is for Verser and I to sort of talk through, you know, when we want to get started with this and how we're going to do that. I can't remember what we had sort of brainstormed with you. I know that, yeah, so remind me what we had kind of talked about as far as what your role in this was going to be. It's been
you wanted to basically build it and then help you maybe through the first like week to month of posting and figuring it out.
Great.
And then you said you were going to take it from there. But
Perfect.
I'm still open to whatever, honestly.
Yeah, so I think, like I said, why don't you give me and Verser a little time to sort of talk through all of this, and then we'll figure out when we want to start doing it. It might actually, I mean, we'll see. You know, because of the COVID-19, nothing makes sense anymore. So, you know, we will start, you know, probably sometime in the mid to late summer, and then really ramp things up in the fall.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think this is great. I think it's a really great plan, and you know, we want you to stay involved. So we'll sort of figure out what the right schedule for us is, and then get back to you, and then figure out, you know, from there. And if you need to invoice us for the work you've done so far, you can feel free to do that. You know, it just occurred to me that as you're explaining your situation with unemployment, it might be helpful to get a little money sooner rather than later. So we're happy if you want to invoice for what you've done and then invoice again later on, that's fine.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I'll figure it out. For now, I'm okay on money, I promise.
Okay. Well, that's not what I meant. I just meant, you know, instead of letting this sit out there, I'm happy to process the paperwork whenever you send it.
So I also know that there was just the sticking point with, I think it was getting Jonelle paid, was that she was staff or part-time faculty.
Yes.
That
So
complicated it, and that won't be.
That's not an issue for Chelsea. So Chelsea can invoice us for the full amount, and you don't need to worry about that. If you're an employee of Columbia College, it's really hard to get you extra money. But if you're not an employee, it's really easy. So, you know, there you go.
That's great.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Well, yeah, if you guys don't have any more questions or anything, I can send you guys this PDF, And then,
That'd be great, just so that we can kind of like look through it and have notes to have a conversation about and that kind of stuff. And then, yeah, no, I think this looks great as well, Chelsea. I mean, it's exactly what I think we were sort of like looking for. It's giving it some structure and expectations and deadlines and yeah.
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah. And then, do you want me to get you the graphics in the next few weeks since you're not trying to ramp this up and I could kind of work with it a little bit more?
Yeah, and like I said, I have a couple of thoughts about that, and I'll send you an email,
Yeah.
you know, in the next few days with my thoughts. So don't really do anything on it right now. I like the basic look, and you know, all I'm thinking about is a color scheme, and I want to run a couple of things by Verser before I make any final decisions on that, and then I'll get back to you.
Perfect. No, that sounds great. All right.
Terrific.
Verser, is this your meeting or Chelsea's meeting?
Mine.
Okay. Chelsea, we're going to kick you out if that's all right.
Fine. That's perfect. All right.
This has been great. I really appreciate it. And we'll be in touch soon. And again, don't be shy about sending in an invoice for what you've done so far.
Perfect. I'll email this over to you guys then.
Great.
All right.
All right.
And
right.
Chelsea, you and I can do a beer virtually later in the week and we'll catch up. All right.
Sounds good.
See ya. Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Bye.